using big data to create value for external customers and internal teams. I'm Tonya Hall for ZDNet, and joining me is Zhe Cheng. He is the manager of core big data at LinkedIn. Welcome, Zhe.
Thank you for having me, Tonya.
Absolutely. We all know what LinkedIn is, but what is your role as manager of core big data?
So my team is in charge of developing the most fundamental infrastructure to support all big data applications at LinkedIn. So I think a well-known example of LinkedIn's big data application is People You May Know. So that's a fairly complex chain of different software components. And so simply put, my team provides the enormous number crunching power to power the upper level applications.
So talk about how things have changed. I mean, how did you use your data a decade ago compared to how you use it now?
Yes, a good question. I can think of two aspects. One is from the infrastructure level, which is the layer I work on. So from both storage and compute, I can see that the infrastructure is just becoming much more scalable and efficient. So a decade ago, so for example, to compute the People You May Know result, it takes weeks. Right now, it's hours, even with much larger number of members and much more volume of data. So another aspect is from the application level. So the kind of things we do on the data. So I see a clear trend that in the past, we have a lot of facts from data, like what is the most viewed job posting and most popular job title on LinkedIn. So right now the trend is we're having more and more, relatively speaking, more and more insights instead of simply facts. So we want to explain the reason that this job title is becoming more popular over time. So that's related to the recent progress in machine learning, artificial intelligence, and deep learning.
Talk about some of the big data technologies and how they're being used in deep learning.
Yeah, I'm glad to do that. So I'll start from, again, the infrastructure level, which is my team's expertise. So on the storage side, we rely on a very big open source big data project called Apache Hadoop. Apache Hadoop has a huge file system called HDFS. So for us, it stores hundreds of petabytes of data. So one layer up, so we have another component which manages the tens of thousands of servers. That's another component in Hadoop called Yarn, the resource manager. And then we need the actual compute engines for programmers to express their logic to work on the data. So we use Apache Spark, which is another very well-known open source project. And relatively recently, we have started investigating in TensorFlow, which is another open source project. It has the suite of algorithms which can mine the patterns in data and give you some very smart capabilities.
What are some of the various open source, artificial intelligence, and deep learning projects to which the team at LinkedIn contributes?
So as I mentioned, the Hadoop project, we contribute a lot on the storage side. So LinkedIn is among the largest companies using Hadoop. So basically, we are facing some of the scalability challenges earlier than the average Hadoop user. So for example, how to store data on clusters with tens of thousands of servers with hundreds of petabytes of data, those challenges, we are facing before the open source provide a solution. So we're contributing to features, for example, using multiple master servers to manage the cluster, multi-master architecture, that's what we call it. So on the resource management side, we're contributing to reduce the inefficiency in the using the resources. And on the compute layer, our focus is better metrics, better management, better operability. So the TensorFlow project, that's our recent focus. And our main contribution is a project which we call Tonya, which we will present in Strata Data in New York City and the O'Reilly AI conference in London. Is a very interesting position. It's connecting TensorFlow with Hadoop. So basically, TensorFlow's focus is to provide the deep learning algorithms. Hadoop's focus is to provide the enormous number crunching power. So Tonya sits in the middle and connects to. So deep learning is more efficient if you feed it with more data. And that's kind of the mission of Tonya.
How are you using deep learning internally at LinkedIn to make your engineers more productive?
Yeah, so I think it's relatively well known that LinkedIn uses deep learning in some products like detecting abusive spam and improving the search results. But internally, actually, we also have some very interesting projects. One of our recent projects is called Dr. Suja. Suja is the name of our old manager. We miss her so much, so we named the project after her. As the big data infrastructure team, we serve thousands of engineers, and they run hundreds of thousands of jobs on our platform every day. So we're basically among the teams who have the most heavy support workload, because not everyone is an expert in big data. So users will submit tens up to like hundreds of support requests every day to us. So this project basically the purpose is to eat our own dog food. We develop deep learning technologies, so why not use that to our internal offering? Because we realized many of the support issues can be resolved automatically because people run the jobs every day, right? So we have accumulated the knowledge base and the previous history of how those issues were resolved. So basically, our algorithm will look at the history and mining patterns and automatically tell you, okay, this is a simple problem which you can refer to the past, or it will automatically find you answer from the knowledge base. It's a relatively new project. It's still progressing, but we have realized the two benefits. One is to reduce the support workload. Another one is for our engineers to get more chance to practice our technology.
So I know the economic graph is important to everything that you do at LinkedIn. Explain the economic graph and how it's used at LinkedIn. Why is it so important?
So LinkedIn's mission is to create economic opportunity for every member in the global workforce. So the way we model this is to see it as a graph of connected components. The connection between people, connection between companies, and connection between people and companies. So the economic graph is a longer-term view of the problem we want to solve. I think it gives us a motivation to work on some of the longer-term research projects. So it has provided some very interesting results.
Well, I appreciate your insight on how you guys are using big data and artificial intelligence. You know, if somebody wants to connect with you and they want to find out more about the work that you're doing, or maybe they want to just connect with you personally, how can they do that?
Yes, so the best way is to connect me on LinkedIn. I'm also on Twitter at oldcap, OLDCAP. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again so much. And I look forward to seeing your conference later this summer and your announcements. If you guys want to follow me and maybe view more of my interviews, you can do that right here on ZDNet or Tech Republic. Or if you want to connect with me, you can go to my website, which is tonyahall.net. I have links to LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. In fact, if you want to chat, I'd love to hear from you. You can connect with me on Twitter at @TonyaHallRadio. Thanks for listening.